Tejas Patel and Swampnil Shah have never shied away from hard work.
I spent everything what I earned till now. It was my sweat and blood.
2 years ago, they decided to open a franchise and were sold on a concept that came out of Winnipeg. It was called Fast Fired by Carbone, a build-your-own pizza restaurant.
I'm Benjamin Nasberg, President and CEO of the Carbone Restaurant Group. Thank you for taking the time and exploring our franchise opportunities.
Fast Fired already had franchises in Manitoba. Patel and Shaw were told they were doing well and believed if they opened a store in Regina, it would be an instant success. Patel and Shaw say Fast Fired has been a disaster since day one. First, construction delays meant they were paying rent months before the doors to their store even opened, leaving them approximately $30,000 in debt before they sold their first pizza. As for the sales projections, last year they barely brought in $150,000, less than a third of the business they were made to believe they could do.
I actually feel that this business dropped me back 5 years of my life because I invested so much, I lost so much, so now I have to start over all again.
They're close to $300,000 in debt and can no longer afford to keep the doors open. The restaurant will close by the end of the month. They blame Carbone Restaurant Group and its owner, Benjamin Nasberg, for the store's demise, saying the company has done nothing to promote the franchise. Fast Fired by Carbone started in Manitoba in 2018. At its height, there were 4 restaurants in this province, 3 of which have since closed. There were 3 stores in Saskatchewan. 1 closed after a fire. Shaw and Patel are closing their restaurant by the end of the month. So by the end of the year, only 1 will remain. Recently, franchises have popped up in Ontario and Alberta.
When you get home, this is what you got. Well, where did I come from? There's no branding. Not good.
Larry Shaborak closed his Winnipeg Fast Fired restaurant in March, less than a year after taking over the business and some of the store's outstanding debts.
All the toppings.
Shaborak has had several successful businesses and thought he can revive the shuttered franchise. But despite his best efforts, the restaurant was a failure.
When you buy a franchise, it's supposed to be a proven system. Well, they're selling franchises, and they've never proved it. It's never been proven.
Full interior.
Darren Darville runs a successful car detailing business in Brandon. In April 2022, he decided to take over a Fast Fired franchise after the previous owner gave up. He says at first it was doing really well because of word of mouth, but that didn't last long.
We're up against all these pizza stores, and they're all doing weekly handout flyers. They're doing social media marketing. They're doing all this marketing.
He says the only advertisement he's ever seen from Fast Fired was looking for franchisees. Darville walked away from the business after just 6 months. Nasberg says his company has done print media campaigns, radio ads, and local community outreach to advertise new locations. A review of Fast Fired's Facebook ads shows the only ones currently running are to sell franchise opportunities.
We're going to use it for marketing.
Natalia Stewart is Carbone's former marketing manager. She was hired in October 2021 in BC. Shortly after, she started reaching out to franchise owners.
They were upset because they didn't have any support. They didn't have anyone to call. They didn't have any marketing material. They didn't have any way to increase their revenue. They were struggling.
Eventually, there wasn't even money to pay employees. By January 2022, Nasberg held a meeting and told staff he would need to defer salaries for 6 weeks. 12 lawsuits have been filed against Nasberg in Manitoba. 3 involve Fast Fired locations, while most of the others relate to a number of failed dine-in pizza restaurants he used to own. 7 of the lawsuits against Nasberg, his companies, and his business partners have been settled, resulting in judgments totaling nearly $1 million. Victor Akenayemi, Hardeep Khatri, and Edgar Xavier put down thousands in deposits for a Fast Fired franchise. Their restaurants never materialized, and they say Carbone was supposed to refund their money but didn't. Akenayemi paid a $20,000 deposit for an existing Fast Fired that was mired in debt. He says Nasberg wanted him to buy the franchise, but his bank refused to lend him the money to cover the former owner's debts. He's been trying to get a refund for over a year.
I said, please, refund my money. We are no longer interested in this deal.
Hardeep Khatri hired a lawyer to get back his $20,000 deposit that he put down in 2021.
It just so heartbreaking that this was the first business I was trying to open up in Canada, and this is what happened. And it's been like for over 2 years now. We paid them $20,000, and nothing is coming up.
Edgar Xavier put down a $5,000 deposit in the summer of 2021 to open a store in London, Ontario. It never happened, but still, he didn't get his money back.
Well, it's a big impact because, I have a family to take care of. I've got 2 kids to take care of. I can't just, have 5,000 just, go in thin air like that. I mean, it's big money.
All right, all right, all right.
Earlier this year, Nasberg was recognized at the Business Elite Awards as an exceptional entrepreneur under the age of 40. Nasberg wouldn't do an interview, but sent a lengthy email response to our questions. Regarding the criticism of franchisees, Nasberg says, in response to the feedback, we have taken steps to strengthen our support structures. This includes expanding our team, investing in training and development, implementing more efficient systems for supply chain management, and ramping up our marketing efforts to help drive customer traffic to our franchises. He wouldn't answer questions about the money former employees and potential investors say he owes them. In response, Nasberg said there are proper channels to deal with this. He claims Fast Fired is a successful brand and says so far in 2023, the Carbone Restaurant Group opened 4 new locations. It's too little too late for Tejas Patel and Swapnil Shah. Once they close their store, they'll have to declare bankruptcy. They hope by sharing their story, they can save another person from getting burned by Fast Fired. Caroline Bargout, CBC News, Winnipeg.